ॐ वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव सर्वकार्येषु सर्वदा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां विषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। साक्षात्कृतं दयानन्दं परमार्थस्वरूपिणं तत्त्वज्ञानप्रशास्तारं प्रणतोऽस्मि परं पदम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थ
नत्वा श्रीभारती तीर्थ
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरो
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरौ
मुनीश्वरो, it must be dirgha, it's a mistake. Vidyaranyamuni munischa, so ishwarascha, sorry, yes, so muni plus ishvara, dirgha sandhi, munishwaro is a type. Vidyaranyamunishwaro
विद्यारण्यमुनीश्वरौ
धीमहे पंचदशीं
अग्निमहे
पंचदशी
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये
कैवल्यपदसिद्धये
मुनिश्च असो ईश्वरश्च मुनि मुनीश्वरः, but here Vidyaranya Bharati Tirtha both are referred to, therefore Dvivachanam Munishwarau Dirgha Munishwarau Dirgha Sandhi. Tattva Viveka Prakaranam, that is the first adhyaya, first chapter, 9th shloka. Tat premartamanyatra aiva manyartamatmani tastat paramam tena Paramanandatatmanah.
Paramanandatmanah.
Along with the previous shloka, this shloka, we have seen the meaning. The previous shloka said, Yam Atma Paranandaha. This Atma is Paramananda Swarupam. Here the author uses the word Sambit for the word Atma. The author uses the word Sambit. Sambit ityukte kim chaitanyameva. Chit. Sambit, Chit, Chaitanyam, Jnanam, Vijnanam, Atma, all mean the same thing. These are Samana Arthavachakaha Shabdaha. All mean the same thing. Chaitanyameva. Here author uses the word Sambit. Sambit is Srilinga Atma, Atman Pullinga Shabda. So Yam Atma Paranandaha we saw in the elaborately in the last two classes, just quite some time before. We have established through the Yukti. If you remember, Hetu, Vyapti, Sadhya, Paksha, all those things which we established, this Atma is Paranandaha Paramananda Swarupam. Atmanausta Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati, the famous Vakyam of Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. That itself is a Pramanam to establish, to prove that Atma is Paramananda Swarupam. That author he presented through Yukti. Atma is a Sat, Atma is a Chit, that up to 7th shloka, from the beginning up to 7th shloka, he established. Then the next shloka, he told that Atma is Ananda Swarupaha, Paranandaha, therefore Satchit Ananda Atma iti. So, Atma is Paramananda Swarupam. Therefore, if one discovers this fact that Atma is Paramanandaha, then he will come to know that he seeks prema, love, for what purpose? For one's own happiness. But the love for an object or love for a person is not for the sake of the object or not for the sake of the person, it is for one's own happiness. Therefore, the Shastram says, Atma Paramanandaha, you are Paramanandatha. So that one has to understand by doing Vichara, Viveka Vichara, the analysis. Therefore, if you once you understand by analysis, by Vichara, by Viveka, then instead of asking or seeking love, instead of asking or seeking love, you know yourself, knowing oneself, knowing one's Swarupam, one Swarupam being Ananda Swarupam, you will not anymore ask for love, seek love from the objects or from the person, because you are the nature of love. Any object or any person is lovable because of you. So once you understand, once you know, I am of the nature of happiness, I am the source of the limitless happiness. Once you know, then you will stop asking or seeking love from external things, external objects, external persons, or external situations. Therefore, the author he established by Tarka, by logic. In these shlokas, Atma is Sat Chit, that already established. Now we establish Ananda also. Therefore, Atma is Sat Chit Ananda by logic. This logic is not Kevala Tarka. This is not Kevala Tarka, it is Shruti Sammata Tarka. Now, how it is Shruti Sammata Tarka, this author is going to say that Atma is Satchidanandaha, that he established. Now, that Atma is Brahma. that cannot be established by logic. That the author is going to say that. Atma is Sachit Ananda Swarupaha. Fine. But that Atma is Brahma, the Jagat Karanam Brahma, therefore Brahma is also Sachit Anandaha. Then only you can say Atma is Brahma. How can you know that Brahma is Sachit Anandaha? Can you know that by Tarka, by logic? No. That knowledge, it is revealed only by Shastram. Therefore, Shastram is, from being the Pramanam, only by Shastram, Brahma is Sachit Anandaha and Atma is Sachit Anandaha by applying our logic, common sense, logic, reasoning. Atma is Sachidanandaha, we have said, and Shastram said Brahma is Sachidanandaha, therefore Atma is Brahma, that Aikyam, that Mahavakyartha, Mahavakyena Pratibharitam, that Aikya Jnanam, that Shastrina Eva Pratibharitam. That is revealed only by the Shastram, that is what the author is going to say now. The next shloka will tell Brahma is Sachit Anandam, that is Pratipaditam only by Shastram. We'll read the next shloka. Ittam Sachit Paranandaha Atma Yuktya Tatha Vidham
Atma
Param Brahmatayoschaikyam
Param Brahmatayoschakyam
Shrutyanteshu Padishyate. Ittam referring to the previous shloka, the discussion, what we add in the previous shloka. Ittam evam prakarena. Ittam meaning etena prakarena evam prakarena. In this manner, evam prakarena. Evam prakarena what? Ittam yuktya Atma Sachit Paranandaha iti siddhaha. Atma is Sachit Paranandaha. Sachit Ananda. Sachit Parananda. Sacha Chit Chitcha Paranandascha. Itaretara Dvanda Samasa. Sachit Paranandaha. Dvanda Samasas. Atma is Sachit Paranandaha. Iti Ittam Yuktya Siddhaha. Established by Yukti. Logic. Tatavidam Param Brahmacha. The same way. Param Brahmacha. Atma is Sachit Parananda iti siddhaha yuktya. Tata yuktya is tarka. Yukti is tarka. Tarkena Atma, this Jivatma, which is Chaitanya Swarupaha, Ananda Swarupaha iti evam prakarena siddhaha. The same way, Tathavidam. Tathavidam means the same way. Tadrisham eva Brahma, Param Brahma. Brahma Tathavidam. Brahma also. This Brahma also Tathavidam. Brahma also is Sachit Paranandam iti Shrutyanteshu. Shrutyanta. Shrutehe antaha Shrutyantaha. The end of the Shruti. Shruti is Veda. Shruyate iti Shrutihi. The end of the Veda. What is at the end of the Veda? It is Veda Anta, Vedanta. That is Upanishad. So Upanishad Su Upadishyate. In the Upanishad, it is Upadishyate. It is said. The Upanishad, it is Upadishyate. Pratipadyate. Upanishad. What? Tatavidam Param Brahma. Brahma is also Sachit Anandam iti Tayoga Aikyam. Aikyam between the Atma and Brahma. Shrutyanteshu Vedanteshu Upanishadsu Pratipadyate Upadishyate. It is revealed in the Shruti. Ittam, in this manner. Atma is Paranandaha, Atma is Sachit Paranandaha, iti yuktya established. Tarkena, it is established. Atma Sachit Paranandaha Stapitaha, yuktya Stapitaha, it is established. Tathavidam, in the same way, Param Brahma api Sachit Anandam iti Shrutyanteshu Upadishyate. Vedanteshu Upadishyate. In the Upanishad, Param Brahma Tathavidam. Brahma is also presented in the Upanishad as what? Sachit Anandam Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Taittiriya Upanishad, Brahmanandavali. Yo Veda Nigitam Guhaya Parame Vyoman iti Upanishad. So Taittiriya Upanishadi Pratipadyate Upadishyate. Taittiriya Upanishada Upadishyate. So Ittam Tata. In this manner, Yatha Atma Paranandaha Yuktya Siddhaha Tadvat Shrutyanteshu Tathavidam presented. I am Sachit Anandaha. I am. English, I am. Aham Sachit Paranandaha is Yukti. Brahma is Sachit Anandaha by what? Is it by Yukti? That is not by Yukti. Brahma is Sachit Anandaha. You cannot establish that by logic. That is Shastrena eva pratipaditam. Therefore, for that, the pramanam is Shastra. I am Sachidananda, we established by Yukti. Yukti, that also in keeping with the Shastram, and it is just applying our common sense, logic, reasoning, we can establish. Whereas Brahma is Sachidananda, how can you establish by Yukti? No, that is Shastra Vishayam. Shastrena Pratipaditam. It is revealed only by Shastra. If it is also established by Yukti, then we don't need Shastra. Then Shastram ceases to be a Pramana. So Brahma is Sachit Ananda is only by Shastram. Aikyam between Brahma and Atma is only by Pramanam. What Pramanam? Shastra Pramanam, Upanishad Pramanam. Therefore, it is not independent Yukti. The Yukti has to be supported by Shastram. That is why we say Shruti Anukula Tarka. The Tarka, the logic, the reasoning supported by Shastra. Kevala Tarka is Shushya Tarka. Dry logic. That is not supported by Shruti. Dry logic is, what is dry logic? That logic which is not supported by Shruti is called dry logic, Shushka Tarka. That logic which is supported by Shruti is called Shruti Anukula Tarka. Shruti Anukula Tarka, therefore, we use the Pramanam, Anumana Pramanam, not Pratyaksha, because it is not Pratyakshena Pratipadita. If it is Pratyaksha is a Pramanam, then we don't need Shastram. Anumana, we applied in the Yukti. Anumana is from Pratyaksha Anubhava. But the Anumana, the reasoning also in keeping with the Shastram only. But Anubhava, generally, this Anumana, the inference, it is based on Pratyaksha. Anubhava only gives you the Drishtanta, the examples. Yatra yatra Dumaha tatra tatraha tatra tatra vannihi. That is only arrived at by Udaharan, the examples. We see the mountain on this. We see the mountain. It is the smoke. Therefore, we infer fire. Why? Because we have seen the concomitance of fire and the smoke in the kitchen. Our Anubhava is that. Therefore, we have the Anumanam. Yatra yatra Dumaha tatra tatra vannihi. So that Anumanam is based on the Pratyaksha Anubhava. The Pratyaksha Anubhava, we have Udaharanam, we have examples, our experiences are there, examples are there. So examples help to arrive at Vyapti. Vyapti is Yatra Yatra Dumaha Tatra Tatra Vannihi. That is the Vyapti. The Vyapti gives the Hetu to establish a Sadhyam. The Duma is a Hetu that helps us to establish a Sadhyam that the mountain must be on fire. So the Duma, that smoke is there, that the Hetu is there, therefore Sadhyam, the fire is there. That we arrive at by Anumanam. Pratyaksha is Duma. Pratyaksha is Duma. You see only the smoke. But we have Vyapti Jnanam. Vyapti Jnanam is by Anubhava, that is by Udaharanam. The kitchen we have seen, smoke and the fire exist in those days. Those days, wood were used for burning, for cooking purpose. Therefore, smoke is there. Therefore, we have seen. In modern days, we don't see because only gas is there. But all these examples are Shastram gives because in the olden days, wood is used for cooking. Therefore, they give the examples. Yata pakashalayam adrishtam duma vanni. So, therefore, Hetu is the Sadhyam is there. If Pratyaksha Pramanam alone is required for Anubhuti Pramanam, then it is Kevala Tarka. What is Kevala Tarka? The dry logic, that is simple, the logic which is Kevalam, not supported by Shruti. Kevala Tarka is Pratyaksha Pramanam alone is required for experience. If Pratyaksha Pramanam alone is required for Anubhuti, that is called Kevala Tarka. So you believe or you accept only that which is available for your immediate perception, Pratyaksha Pramanam. That Tarka which we did, the logic what we did on the first 9 shlokas, it is based on Shruti. It is not Kevala Tarka, it is not just Pratyaksha Anubhava. It is Anumana, that Anumana based on the Shastram. Shastram is a Pramana for knowing that there is Brahma is Sachidananda, and that Sachidananda Brahma, Atma is myself. You cannot arrive at this by Yukti. You can understand what Shastram says by Tarka, but you cannot arrive at that Agam Sachit Anandaha by Pratyaksha Pramanam. No, you cannot arrive at. Shastram is a Pramanam. Shastram alone reveals. The revelation of Shastram is logically understood. That is the usage of Tarka. It is Shruti Sammata Tarka. Tarka which is blessed by Shruti. Tarka which is blessed by Shruti. The Nayayikas they are logicians. They always give logic. For them, logic, they are very good in giving logic. That's why they call Nayayikas logicians. The logicians they present different arguments to prove that it is by Yukti you can establish. They give some argument. As Vedanti, we also give counter arguments to prove that their arguments are false. If they present arguments with examples, we can also present arguments with other examples and then can dismiss them. And also, it is not possible to argue with the people who do not accept Shastram as a Pramana. If they argue by giving some Drishtanta, yes, the other Drishtanta, we can counter them and dismiss them. Like there are some people who says there are many paths, there are different paths are there to get moksha, to get freedom. Different yogas are there. Jnana yoga, karma yoga, raja yoga, bhakti yoga, and so many other yogas are there. And they give the example. As there are different paths to reach the temple, similarly, see, there are different paths are there. The temple is there. The temple can be reached by different paths, different roads. If by different roads are there to reach the temple, you can reach. Similarly, moksha also can be reached at by different yogas. As many yogas, as many religions, so many paths. The argument. Yes, you can reach the temple by different paths. But to see the Bhagavan, to see the deity in the Garbhagraha, there is only one path. We can counter them by saying, to see Bhagavan, there is only one path. Bhagavan cannot be approached or cannot be seen through different paths. The Bhagavan who is located, who is present in the Garbhagriha, can be seen only through one path. Therefore, Jnanam alone is the means. Jnana Yoga alone is the means for moksha. So logicians, they give example to prove that as many yogas are there to get moksha, we can dismiss the same example by saying that Jnanam alone is a means for moksha. So, the Nayayikas who they present, similarly Nayayikas, the logicians, they present different such arguments that Shruti is not required by Anumanena, Kevala Anumanena, Tarkena, it can be arrived at, they say, but it is not correct. It is not possible. If it is possible, then Shastram is not required as a Pramana. Shastram being there, then it is since it is accepted as one of the Pramanam. Therefore, their Tarka has got fallacy and it can be countered, it can be dismissed. Everything, if it is Pratyaksha Anubhava, Atma is also Pratyaksha, then Atma also becomes an object of your perception. If it is an object of perception, then Atma cannot be Sat, Atma cannot be Chit, Atma cannot be Ananda, Atma can have all the Shat Vikara, Shat Bhava, it comes and goes, it will have Janma, Marana, all these things will come, solve problem. If it is Pratyaksha. So therefore, Atma is not Pratyaksha Anubhava, it is Nitya Aparoksha. It is since you being that. Therefore, you don't need an experience to experience yourself. Behind every experience, the experiencer is there. To know the experiencer, you don't need to have a new experience. Even though it is a new experience, a different experience from all other experiences, since it being experienced, that experience limits the Atma as an object. It's a problem. Therefore, we say Shastram, Shastrena Eva Pratipaditam. Shruti, the Anumana, etc., all those things can be taken as a support. But that doesn't establish Atma, that doesn't establish Brahma, that doesn't establish the aikyam between Atma and Brahma, which is Trutya Eva Pratipaditam. So, where do we start from? We start only from the Shastram. We don't start from the Pratyaksha. We don't start from the Pratyaksha. Shastram with Pramana. Shastram is a Pramana. Shastram is a Pramana which is supported by Tarka. So, we start with Shastram because Shastram is the Pramanam, whereas the people, the Nayayikas, who sticks to the Tarka, Kevala Tarka, for them the starting point is Pratyaksha. Shastra is not accepted by them. Whereas we begin with the Shastram. Our arguments all begin with the Shastram. Their arguments begin with Pratyaksha. The arguments which are the logic which begins only with Pratyaksha, that's called Shushka Tarka. That is called Shushka Tarka. You should know, when we say Tarka, Anumana, we should know our Tarka, our Anumana is all supported by Shruti. That we understood very clearly. Anumanena, it cannot establish. There are some people who say this, they argue. The truth is Dvaitam only. The truth is Dvaitam. Why? Because it is experienced. It is our Vyavaharika Anubhava. Dvaitam is Vyavaharika Anubhava. There is an experience. Experiences, there are experiences of objects other than me, the things other than me. So because experience is there, therefore Dvaita Jnanam is there. So the experience Anubhava, that experience, Anubhava proves Dvaitam. So what is the basis for establishing Dvaitam? According to some people, they argue experience is a basis for Dvaitam. Dvaita Anubhava. Dvaita Anubhava itself proves, that experience itself proves Dvaitam. So the basis for concluding that the truth is Dvaitam is Anubhava, experience. Experience establishes duality. We can counter them, we can say the experience, the very experience itself proves non-duality. They say experience proves duality. We say the same experience proves non-duality. In spite of experience, the truth is non-duality, it is Advaitam. How do we say? They say experience gives knowledge. The experience is succeeded by knowledge. Experience first and then knowledge. For example, if you want to know an object, to perceive an object, you have experience first and then you get to know the knowledge of an object. A flower is that you don't know whether it is a real flower or a plastic flower. So you take it by your hand, you touch it, you smell it, experience. Out of experience, what you gain? The knowledge. What knowledge? That flower is a real flower. It has got softness, the petal is soft, it is not plastic, and it has got smell, gandha, therefore it is a real flower. So experience first and then knowledge second, followed by knowledge. And because experience is there, therefore it proves Dvaitam. And that is our Anubhava. Therefore, Dvaitam is Satyam. Iti, this logical people, they argue. Therefore, experience is the basis for establishing duality. We say, is it all the time? Is it so? Is it all the time? Is this what you perceive? Experience proves the experience. Does experience prove the existence of a thing? No. Example, you see the sky is blue in color. Using our pratyaksha pramana, netra, chakshurindriya, netram, we see the sky which is blue in color. Is it pratyaksha or not? It is pratyaksha anubhava. I am operating my eyes and I see the sky very clearly as blue in color. Neela megaha, Neela akashaha. But does akasha have really color? Akasha is colorless. By scattering of light, by the principle called scattering of light, dispersion of light, discovered by Sir C.V. Raman, who got Nobel Prize for that. We know Akasha, the sky is colorless. The sky is colorless. The colorless sky appears to be blue. If your knowledge is, if your experience is based, if your knowledge is based on experience, only on experience, then that sky is blue in color and that you experience, because you experience the color as blue, can you conclude that sky is blue in color, which is dismissed by the same science which says sky is colorless? So if experience is the proof for the knowledge, in this example, Drishtanta, the experience of blueness of the sky, that dismisses the very knowledge. What is the real knowledge? The real knowledge is sky is colorless, but the sky appears blue. So the experience doesn't prove correct knowledge. The experience need not imply the knowledge is correct. The same logic can be extended to experience of objects in the world. Experience of objects proves duality, you say. As in this Drishtanta, we said experience proves that the knowledge is wrong. It has to be replaced by correct knowledge. Experience doesn't give correct knowledge. Experience can give wrong knowledge also. Drishtanta given, blue sky, and also mirage water, another example. You see the mirage, water. Water is seen, but really water is there. It is just a mirage. Experience of water, you see the water, experience is there. But is there really water? So experience doesn't prove, experience gives knowledge, and the knowledge need not be correct knowledge. That is what we say. So experience gives knowledge, fine. The knowledge need not be correct knowledge. It has to be proved. It has to be proved. Because we experience duality, therefore you cannot arrive at Dvaitam. That is what we say. That knowledge can be wrong. Like in the Drishtanta, the sky is blue or the mirage the water is there in the mirage. Experience is there, but what is the knowledge? Knowledge dismisses the experience. Therefore, what we say, in spite of Dvaitam, what is there is Advaitam. So that we can counter. So this is how you have to counter the Nayayikas, the logicians. The experience has to be corroborated by the right knowledge. The correct knowledge of a thing implies correct experience. So when we can call a knowledge as knowledge is when it has got when it has got correct experience. And also one more thing here in this, the knowledge of an object in our Vyavahara, the knowledge of an object is preceded by experience. That is why we say experience first and then knowledge. You have experience and then you gain knowledge. Experience first and then knowledge. Knowledge is preceded by experience. But that is not in the case of this Advaitam. That is not in the case of Advaita Jnanam, where knowledge is first and then experience. Experience is preceded by knowledge. The subject has to be there to gain knowledge. The subject is not there. The Atma has to be there. Who is knowledge? Then experience is not possible. In the presence of the Atma, the subject, all the experiences are possible. Therefore, their experience is preceded by knowledge. Normally, in the Vyavahara, the knowledge is preceded by experience, whereas in the Advaita, in the Paramarthika, Advaita, where experience is preceded by knowledge. Knowledge first and then experience later. The subject, the Atma, is there, who is responsible for all the experiences. So that Atma, the subject, is not an object for experience. Because it is there, therefore only experiences are possible. Therefore, we cannot just project our Vyavaharika Anubhava or our understandings of Vyavaharika to Paramarthika Atma. If you extend by logic, we can also counter it by logic and dismiss that. That's why Shastram is a Pramanam. In the Vyavahara, Pratyaksha, based on Pratyaksha, the Anubhava, we arrive at things. But in the same way, you cannot arrive at Atma. It is not Pratyaksha Vishaya. When it is not Pratyaksha Vishaya, Shastra Vishaya, and Shastram says Advaitam. Therefore, Advaitam is Satyam. Advaita Atma is Advaitam, who is ever the subject, in the presence of which everything is experienced, and that cannot be arrived at by logic. Another example also can be given to dismiss this Shushka Tarka, the logic presented by the logicians. According to Nayayika Darshana, Nyaya Darshana, for them, Akasha has got parts. So Akasha has no parts. Akasha has got no parts. It has got no avayava. Niravayavaha Akasha. Akasha is one complete. It doesn't have parts, according to Nayayikas. And Akasha is Nityam, it is Niravayavam. Akasha is Nityaha Niravayavaha according to Nayayikas. So when you read the Darshana of the other philosophies, Nayayika, Vaisheshika, etc., Nyaya and Vaisheshika, they go together. They have got some similarity. So this Nayayikas, for them, Akasha has got no parts. Niravayavaha Akashaka, Nityaha Akashaka. It is eternal, it is partless. Why they say? Because the parts of space are not available for your perception, not available for your experience. Therefore, they conclude Atma is this Akasha is partless. It is Niravayavaha iti. Based on Pratyaksha Anubhava. But what does the Shastram say? What does the Shastram say about Akasha? Does it say it has Niravayavaha or Savayavaha? What does the Shastram say? Shastram says Akasha is Savayavam. It is with parts. Avayavena sahavartate Savayavam. How do we say Akasha has got parts? I don't see Akasha has got parts. To know that Akasha has parts, you don't need to operate your Pratyaksha Pramana. You operate Shastra Pramana. That is the logic to understand what the Shastram says. Shastram says Akasha has parts. Why? Why the Shastram says Akasha has parts? It is Savayavam. Because Akasha is also a product. It is also a karyam. Whatever things are karyam, they must have parts. Karyatvat, katadivat. A product is that which is created from the cause. Cause is there, from the cause a product is created. Clay is there, from the clay pot is created. The pot has got parts. It has got base, it has got belly, it has got neck, it has got opening. Parts are there. So, clay is the karanam, gata is the karyam, gata being the karyam, it is with parts. Kimatam karyatvat, because it is karyam, it has the status of being a karyam, therefore, gata has got parts. Similarly, Akasha being created. How do you know it is created? Tasmad etasmad atmanaha akasha sambhutaha akashat vayuhu vayoragnihi agnerapaha advyah prithvi prithvyam oshadayaha. Taittiriya Upanishad very clearly says tasmad etasmad atmanaha, and even Tattvabodha very in the beginning we have seen from the Atma, Akashaha, Sambhutaha. Akasha is produced from Atma because it is produced, because it is created. That which is created is Karya, the product. Therefore, Karyatvat, Akashaha api, Savayavaha eva gatavat, like a gata, the pot is created. Similarly, Akasha also, since being a product, it has got parts. Addition says Akasha doesn't have parts. We say it has got parts. What is the proof or what is the logic? Shastram says yate yate karyam tata tata savayava. That also we know. Shastram says from the Atma, Akasha has come and being a product. And we know whatever are products, they must have parts. Yate yate karyam tata tata savayavam. Parts are there because they are karyam. That statement is called Vyapti. That Vyapti Jnanam we have in the world, in the Vyavahara, we have seen pot. Pot is created from clay, and pot has got parts. And similarly, Akasha also is created. Therefore, it must be with parts. You cannot say it is partless. So where there is karyatvam, there savayatvam is there. Yatra karyatvam, tatra savayavatvam. That is called Vyapti. And the Drishtanta is Gata. Gatavat. Pot has got parts because pot is a product. It has got parts. Similarly, Akasha also a product, a karya. Gatavat Akashasyapi avayavaha santi eva. Therefore, akasha is savayavaha niravayavaha. It is savayavaha eva. Karyatva gatavat. This is our logic. When they present logic, we also counter them. When they present logic, they present by Teksha, we counter them by Shruti Pramanam, and also we give our logic, which is understandable for them. So, therefore, what we say is, it is Atma is not Atma. It is Atma is not for Atma. This Pratyaksha is not the Pramana. Space for them. This example, Drishtanta, this Akasha example. Akasha is it is created. Therefore, it is not Pratyaksha Pramanam for them. So, therefore, they will dismiss what Shruti says. For want of Pratyaksha Pramana. They believe only what is available for their perception. They're all Pratyaksha based. As far as Shastram is a Pramana. So you can argue with the people who accept Shastram as a Pramanam. That argument or the arrival at the conclusion, that is called Shruti Sammata, Tarka, the logic, the dispute, the debate. Even in debate, we can argue with people who accept Shastram as a Pramana, who doesn't have Shraddha in Shastram, who doesn't accept Shastram as a Pramana. With them, you cannot debate and arrive at. They always will have some stupid arguments, illogical arguments. Therefore, it is very difficult to convince them. Even if we try to convince them, they ask for experience, Pratyaksha Anubhava, they ask for. Everything you cannot give, you cannot have Pratyaksha. If you try to bring Atma as Pratyaksha, then it ceases to be Advaita. It becomes Dvaita. The knowledge here is Advaita. Advaitam can be arrived at only by Shastram. Therefore, Shastram is the Pramanam. And that is why we quoted from the Shastram, Tasmat Etasmat Atmanaha Akashaha Sambhutaha iti. By that only we arrive at Akasha must be Savayava. It is not Pratyaksha. Even for us, it is not Pratyaksha. But we arrive at it has got parts. How? Right? Shruti Pramana. Shruti Vakyam Malo. Shruti says it is a product. Therefore, this argument is called Shruti Sammata Tarka. The example for Shruti Sammata Tarka. So the Hetu, Akasha is Savayavatam, is established by the Shastram. This is the difference between Kevala Tarka and Shruti Sammata Tarka. So, Atma is Satchidananda is established. Now that Atma is Satchidananda Lakshanam Brahma. Shruti reveals that Brahma is Satchidananda Lakshanam. By Yukti, we arrived at Atma is Satchidananda. And that Atma is Brahma. Brahma is Satchidananda Lakshanam. Iti Shrutyanteshu eva upadishyate. That Atma is Satchidananda. Who is Atma? Agam Atma. Agam Satchidananda Swarupaha. And Brahma is Satchidanandam. Therefore, Agam Brahma Aspi, that Aikyam, which is presented by the Mahavakyam, Akandartha Bodhaka Vakyam, Mahavakyam, that Aikya Jnanam, Shrutyanteshu eva Pratipadyate Upadishyate. Therefore, Shruti is the Pramanam. Here the author, he says Shruti is a Pramanam for that. So, without Shruti, we are not trying to establish this Aikyam, and it is not possible also. That is why here the author uses a word Shrutyanteshu. It's very important. Shrutyanteshu. Yuktya Atma Satchit Anandaha iti sadhyate chet Upanishadam ka avashyakata. Upanishad, what is the use of Upanishad? Upanishad is required to present Jivatmanoho Aikyam. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma. Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. Atra Ayam Purushaha Swayam Jyotihi Bhavati Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. All these are all these Vakyam, they reveal the Satchidananda Swarupam of Brahma. What is Brahma? Brahma is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Taitiriya Upanishad. Vijnanam Anandam Brahma Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. So Shruti alone reveals the Satchidananda Swarupam of Brahma. And also Aikyam, Jiva Brahma Aikyam. That is also revealed only by Shruti, by Mahavakya. Tattvamasi, Ayam Atma Brahma, Vijnanam Brahma, Iti, Agam Brahma Asmi. All these are Aikya Bodhaka Vakyam, Aikyam Bodhayanti. Upanishada eva Aikyam Bodhayanti. Therefore, Upanishad is the Pramanam for the Brahma being, Brahma is Sachit Ananda, and there is the Aikyam between Jiva and Brahma. Therefore, Shruti Pramanam iti author has clearly said. Therefore, that is a requirement of Shruti. Shabda Pramanam, Shruti Pramanam is required. Just by mere Tarka, you cannot establish. Then why we talk about Tarka, the logic? It is only for us to get convinced. Our mind is logical. It does all this analytical thinking, logical. We need to have some convincing arguments logically. So therefore, for that purpose, Yukti. Yukti is not independent. Yukti is independent in the sense, by independent Yukti, you cannot establish Aikyam, you cannot establish Brahma is Satchidananda. Yukti is required for our convincing. So you get convinced. In the beginning, that's why we say in the beginning, even if you don't have Shraddha in what Shastram says, Shraddha, we give the translation of the word Shraddha as pending understanding. We don't dismiss a Shastra. We give the benefit of doubt to the Shastra. We give the benefit of doubt to the Shruti. So since those may be there with regard to the Pramanam or Prameya Vishayam, therefore we need all these arguments in the beginning to get convinced. Therefore only it is presented. Even the great scholars, even the great Vedikas, they have got doubt with regard to the Shastram, whether it is really Shabdatmakam Shastram. Even those people, they're all great Vedikas. They themselves have got somehow this samshaya crept into their mind. They themselves ask, the Shastram is a Pramanam. Why can't be established by Yukti? Therefore only we need to discuss all these things. Shastram is a Pramanam. With regard to that, we need not have any doubt. You cannot arrive at by Yukti. If you can arrive at by Yukti, then it is also becomes one more science. That is, where science is there Shastra doesn't have any scope. Where Shastram is there science doesn't have scope. So Vedanta or Veda is not science. There is no scientific Veda, there is no Vedic science at all. Both have got independent scope of knowledge. Both cannot be combined. If both are combined, then one becomes useless. Science has got different scope, Shastram has got different scope. That is why they are independent Pramanam. Anadhigata abhadita artavata jnanajanakam Pramanam. Therefore, there is a need for Shastra to establish this Aikyam, to establish Surupam of Brahma. Now we will read I will read the Bhashyam, commentary to this and then explain. Etaihi saptabhihi shlokaihi pratipaditam artham sankshipya darshayati. Saptabhihi shlokaihi means the 7 shloka, starting from the 3rd shloka up to 9th shloka. Pratipaditam artham, the artha which is pratipaditam, which is revealed, it is given sankshipya in a short, summarizing as shown here, the author. By what word? Ittam. Ittam is a word which indicates summarization of what has been discussed before. Shabdasparshadaya ityadina jnanasya nityatvam prasadya tasya eva ayam atma iti atmatva prasadhanena atmanaha satchidrupam saditam parananda ityadina. Shabdasparshadaya, the shloka, it started with Shabdasparshadaya. By that shloka ityadina, Jnanasya nityatvam prasadya, having presented the Atma as Nitya, tasya eva ayam Atma iti Atmatvam prasadena Atmanah Sachit Rupam Saditam. Atma as Sachit Rupa, it is Saditam, it is presented, and Atma is Paranandaha. Paranandaha ityadina. Shloka, Parananda, the word referring to the shloka. Parananda ityadina. Atma is Paramananda Swarupatvam. Paramananda Rupatvam also Samartitam, it is Saditam. It is also presented. Ataha Atma Mahavakye Tvam Padartaha Satchidananda Rupaha Siddhaha. Therefore, in the Mahavakya Tatu Tvamasi or Agam Brahmasmi, any Mahavakya, if you take there, the Jivatma is Tvam Padartaha. Tvam Padartaha, that Atma is Swarupam is Sachit Anandaha iti Siddhaha, that has been established. Nanu Ukta Lakshanasya Atmanaha Yuktya eva Avagatau Upanishadaha Nirvishayattvena Apramanya Prasangacha iti Ashankya Tatha Vidam iti. When Atma is Sachidanandaha, it is established by Kevala Yukti, Kevala Tarka, Avagatau Sati, by when it can be known only by Kevala Tarka, then what is the need for the Upanishad? Upanishad becomes useless. It becomes Nirvishaya. It doesn't have Vishaya. It doesn't have anything to convey. It becomes Nirvishaya. It becomes useless. And it becomes Apramanyam. It ceases to be a Pramana. When you can Yuktya, when you can establish Atma is Sachidanandaha, iti Ashankya, when this doubt is there, for that the author says Tata Vidam, in the same way. Tata Vidam. The same way what? Brahma is Sachidanandaha. That is revealed only by Shastram. Therefore, Shastram has got Vishayam. Sa Vishayatvam asti, it is Pramanam. It is not Nirvishaya, it is not Apramanam, it is Pramanam, it has got Savishayatvam, because Shastram alone reveals Brahma, and Brahma is Sachit Anandam iti. Therefore, the word Tatha Vidam reveals that. Tatha is equal to Tadrik Vida in the same way. Tadrik Vida, Tadrik Lakshanam, Prakaraha iti. Prakaraha, Yasya Tat Tatha Vidam, in the same way, what is the Sachidananda Rupam Param Brahma, Tat Padartasya, Tat Padartaha, the Mahavakya, Brahma is Tat Padartaha, Tayogo, Tattvam Padartayogo, Tayogo referring to that Jiva, that Tvam Padartha, Tat Padartha, Jiva and Paramatma, Tayogo. Jivatma Paramatma, which is revealed by the Tvam-pada and Tat-pada respectively. Therefore, Tayoho, Tat-tvam-padartha, Tat-tvam-padarthayoho, Aikyam, that oneness, Akandaika Rasa, Rasatvam, Akanda Eka Rasatvam, it is Akanda, indivisible, and it is Ekarasatvam, it is one. Cha, Shrutyanteshu ityukte Vedanteshu, eva upadishyate, Pratipadyate, Ataha, Na Vedantaram Nirvishayatvam ityartaha. Therefore, Vedanta doesn't have Vishaya iti, you cannot say. Vedanta na Nirvishayatvam ityartaha. Vedanta has got Vishaya. It is being a Pramanam, it has got Vishaya, it has got subject matter. It is not something which doesn't have subject matter. It has got Vishaya. It has got something to convey. It is a Pramanam. Iti Uktam. This is 10th shloka. Now we will read the 11th shloka. Another beautiful shloka. Every shloka in this text is beautiful one. We can discuss on this. Many things we can discuss. Now we will read the 11th one. Abhanena param prema.
Abhanena param prema.
Bhanena vishaye spruha.
Anena vishaye smaha.
Ato bhane vyabhathasau.
Ato bhanebhya bhāsau.
Paramanandatatmanaha.
Paramanandatātmanah.
We can discuss on this shloka, elaborate in the next class. I will tell you the simple meaning of this shloka. The word with the bhana, with the ba dhatu, the author has played here. Abhane, bhane, bhane, bhata, iti. Bhana, Bhanam means pratitam. Ba means jnanam, knowledge. Ba. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandratarakam. Nema vidyito bhanti kuto yamagnihi. We know this mantra which is chanted while doing arati. So bha, bhati, swayam bhati. Ba means to shine. Abhane na param prema. When Atma is not known, Abhane, when Abhane na param prema. Apratito param prema. When Atma is not known, then Atma cannot be the object of your love. That cannot be love for Atma. But love for Atma is that Bhanena Vishaye Spritha. See, Abhanena Param, if Atma is not known, then Param Prema is not possible. Param Prema is the love. If Paramanandata Atma is of the nature of Ananda, if it is not known, then Abhane means not known. Atma is Param Prema if it is not known. Because Atmanachu Kamaya Sarvam Priyam Bhavati. Therefore, that already we established by Yukti also. Atma is Satchit, and it is whether it is Ananda or not, that we are going to see. That we will discuss later. In the next class we will do. So Atma is of the nature of Paramananda. If it is not known, then there cannot be love for it. Everybody loves oneself. That already we have proved. Everybody once loves oneself. That already we have proved. Therefore, Atma is Paramananda Swarupaha, Yam Atma Paranandaha, we have seen. So, Abhane, if Atma is not known, then it cannot be the one, it cannot be Param Prema Vishaya. It cannot be Param Prema. Abhane na Param Prema. There cannot be Paraprema for Atma if Atma is not known. Bhanena Vishaya Spriha. If Atma is known, then you will not have Spriha, the desire for the Vishaya. You have got desire for Vishaya. Spriha is desires, the urge, the longing. The longing for Vishayas will not be there if Atma is Paraprema, if it is known. If it is not known, then you will not have love for Atma. If Atma is Paramprema, if it is not, then you will not have love for Vishayas. Therefore, you tell me now, Atma is known or not known. The author says, it doesn't say, he just says, if it is Atma is Paramprema, if it is known, then you will not have desires for Vishaya. If it is not known, Abhane na Paramprema. If it is not known, then you cannot have love for Atma. But everybody loves oneself. That we have seen. So Atma is known, Atma is unknown. Both. It means what? Atma is not clearly known. That's what the second line he says. Ataha bhane api abhata asau. Even though it is known, but still it is not known. It means what? It is not completely known. That is why ajnanam. We say ajnanam. Ignorance. When there is clear jnanam, then it is known. Complete knowledge, clear knowledge. When something is not known clearly, it is half knowledge, it is incomplete knowledge. It is known as well as not known. It means it is really, the Swarupam is not known. Because it is not known, therefore, aso abhata, that it is not known. Pane api abhata eva aso atma, paramanandatatmanaha. The Paramananda Atma is, even though it is known, but it is not known. Even though it is known, not known. So, therefore, it is half known. Half knowledge is always dangerous. If you ask Atma, if you ask, do you know Atma? You cannot say, I know. You cannot say, I don't know. If you say, I don't know, then becomes a problem. Then, Paraprema, how is it possible to have love for something which you don't know? Atma is not for which everybody has got love. Therefore, you cannot say, I don't know. If you say, I know, then why do you have love for other things? That question also is there. Therefore, it is known or not known. It is known, at the same time not known. It means it is not completely known. That is what the author says, about which we will discuss. We have to discuss a lot in this next class. We'll do. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಗುರುಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣಜಿ.
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ
ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಶರಣಜಿ.